Okay, here we are back again with the third and final video in this series covering the updated Windows and Linux partitioning scripts for the Xbox One. And in this video we're going to be covering specifically the Linux scripts. So we have our OG Xbox One here, and where we left off in the last video was getting the 2 terabyte drive formatted properly using the Windows scripts, and this video is going to cover the Linux scripts. So we're going to basically do reformat the system. So we got it working again, and we're going to break it and make it work again. So obviously we're going to shut it down and pull the drive. Okay. Okay, so same setup as before. Throw the power on this. Get this plugged in. Okay, we're going to switch back over to Windows 10 here. Okay, now I know I said that we're going to be showing you the Linux scripts, and we are going to be doing that, but we're going to cheat a little bit to get Linux onto a flash drive and then basically boot from a flash drive. And when I say cheat is, what I mean by that is we're not actually using a Linux system from scratch and downloading the scripts, but instead we're going to boot it from a flash drive. Okay, so let's get started here. So first thing we're going to do is download the Linux scripts themselves, and the Windows and Linux scripts are kept together in the same zip file. So let's first download our Xbox One HDD Master 5 script, or zip rather. Okay. I created a few shortcuts to make this whole process a bit faster. So I have a shortcut here to the downloads folder. Here's our scripts that we just downloaded. We'll use 7-zip. We'll say extract here. And then we're gonna, well, this time we're actually not gonna copy it to the desktop like we normally do on Windows. Instead, we're gonna actually put it on our flash drive, which will contain the Ubuntu install. So we'll wait a little bit on that and go to the next thing that we'll need to download here, which is the, let's see here. Okay, so we got our scripts. We already have 7-zip installed. And the C tools by Seagate I've already mentioned. You can use that to basically check to see if there are hardware issues with your drive and to see if your drive is going bad. We do need to download this. This is the osu1.zip. My prior video with Windows, I put the update files on the actual update partition itself. This time around, we're not going to do that. Okay, you can see this is a rather large file. I'm not going to download this here because I already have it downloaded. It's in the our downloads directory here, as you can see here. But we'll pretend that we just downloaded it. Next on the list is Linux Live download. And this is another one I've already downloaded. This is pretty easy. Just click here and then you download it. But I've already got a copy of that as well. which I put in the Linux directory here. At the time, the 294 is the most recent version. Okay, and then lastly is the, click here rather, lastly is the Ubuntu desktop ISO. This one too I've already downloaded, it's in the Linux folder. This is here. But just to give you an idea, on the Ubuntu desktop download page, there's these LTS versions, long-term service versions. You're fine to download this if you want to download this. I usually get whatever the latest version of Ubuntu is. I usually like to have all the latest tools. So basically you would click here to download, and we're not going to donate. And if it doesn't automatically download, you can click to download now. It's about a gig and a half here. Again, I'm not going to download it because, like I said, I already have it downloaded here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is install Linux Live USB Creator. And what this tool is for is basically we're going to feed it this ISO, and it's going to put it onto one of our flash drives. Okay, we'll leave this checked here and we'll say run. Otherwise though, you could just double click this here, or you could go into your start menu and run it through here. Should be under L. It is. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we have one USB flash drive dedicated to Ubuntu. I believe this is a 8 GB flash drive. Okay, we don't have to do anything special with the flash drive because this tool will format it and put the ISO on there for us automatically. So basically it does all the work. So you could throw in a USB flash drive in any condition at this point, as long as it's at least functioning. The other thing to check is how big is this one that we have. Click this PC here. Yeah, okay. So this is a 16 GB flash drive. Okay. So we just plugged in the flash drive, but we don't see it in this list. And that's because it wasn't plugged in when we opened this program. So we're going to click this little refresh button here. I don't know if it says refresh or not. But there we go. Oh, it actually shows us the size here. So we'll select that. And then we're going to pick our Ubuntu ISO file. So we'll click this here. And we'll go to our downloads, Linux. And here's our Ubuntu 1704. Oh, just to mention too, I don't know. Yeah, by default, it looks like Ubuntu gave us the 64-bit version here, the AMD 64. I'm not quite sure how it determines that. It probably always gives you that at this point, because most CPUs support 64-bit. And I'd recommend that that's the one you download. So we'll click open. It's going to examine the file. It'll usually tell us it doesn't know anything about it, but it knows a close version. Well, you'll see in a moment here. There you go. Yeah, it says it's not on the compatibility list. However, it's going to use Ubuntu 1504, which is fine. Persistence. I don't know that we need this. This allows us to, what I usually do is do about 2 gigs. And that's an area, that creates an area of the flash drive that you can write files to. And they'll be present each time you reboot the flash drive. Normally the file system on one of these flash drives that gets created with the live CD isn't writable. Okay, so we'll leave this checked, hide created files. And this is what I was saying, there's a checkbox here for formatting the key. This will erase your data. We'll say fine to that. And I usually leave this checked too, but this is not something that I use or recommend you using, which is basically loading an install of, basically loading up Linux within a window within Windows, like a virtual machine basically. But I usually leave that checked as well in case that's something you're interested in doing. So last we click this lightning bolt here and it says you're going to lose your data. Okay, that's fine. And here it'll keep you updated with what's going on with the flash drive. Okay, so there you go. So finally done there. I debate a couple of the options I picked because it definitely had a lot of time. It took about 20 minutes or so to finish that whole process. The persistence file system took quite a while to create. And then as far as these options go, it's really up to you what you want to choose, but I don't think unchecking any or all of these would hurt anything at all. You certainly don't need to hide the files on the key, and if you're not going to boot or load the Linux operating system from within Windows, you don't need this Linux Live in Windows stuff either. And you certainly don't need to format the drive if it's already formatted. Either way though, it did finally complete, so we can move on to the next step. And the next step is to go back to where we downloaded the scripts. And what we're going to do now is move a copy of this folder to the flash drive. So we have a shortcut here to our flash drive. And you can see here, the only thing on here is the virtual box. And we're going to put it right onto the root of F. Okay, so within here we have our Linux scripts. Okay, and we have one last step to do, which is to put the OSU1 files onto this flash drive. So what we're going to do here is we're going to eject the Ubuntu flash drive that we just built, and that's ready to go. And we're going to put in our OSU1 flash drive. Okay, so let's check out our OSU1 flash drive. Now, this is the same flash drive we used yesterday. We didn't actually use it on the Xbox One, but we did put the update files already on this thing. So we don't need to do it again. However, I will show you what you need to do that, which is we go to the downloads folder here, and we go to our zip file, and we would go to 7-zip, and we'd say extract here, and that would generate this folder here. And then we want to drag this folder onto our F drive, which we're not actually going to do. And there we go. So now we have the F drive ready to go. So we'll just eject this as well. Okay, so we have both our flash drives prepared. So we're going to plug back in our Ubuntu drive here. Let me show you what we have here. So we're going to plug the Ubuntu drive in, and then we're going to leave our 2 terabyte Xbox One drive attached, or the drive that we're going to reformat as the Xbox One drive. And we're going to reboot our PC here. Now, on your system this may differ, but on most Dells you want to press the F12 key as the BIOS comes up, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so we want to select the second option here, the USB device. Okay, we can use the mouse here to select try Ubuntu. We don't want to select the install option because we are perfectly fine with Windows 10 on this device. But using the try Ubuntu will load it from the flash drive into memory. Okay, that took a while to boot, but we're finally here. And I just wanted to mention that the Linux script that we're going to be using in this portion of the video was created by someone named Ludwig. And he has a website which I've linked inside the script where he hosts this script. And it's publicly available to everyone. He did disable comments a long time ago on this particular post for this script. And the reason I'm mentioning that is that it doesn't look like he wants to be bothered about it. And also as a result of that, there are tons of videos that show this script in use and people supporting it. But I wanted to point out that even though there are, the script is not my script, and that it's shown by several other users and supported by several other people, this is the only version of this script which has my changes to it, which allow it to create a proper 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte drive. So I just wanted to mention that. So if you do see this script in other download locations on the internet and you're trying to use the script and you notice that it doesn't seem or doesn't appear to have the same functionality as the script I'm using here, it's because only the script that I've linked in this video has the newer options to support the 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte drives. I won't mention that again, but I just wanted to point that out in case you are having trouble and you already have the script and figure you don't need to download the one that I'm offering. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is right-click the desktop and select Open Terminal. And for whatever reason, Ubuntu puts anything that you put on the root of the flash drive will be found in Media CD-ROM. We'll do an ls here. And there's our Xbox One HDD master. So we're going to CD to that. And we're going to go to Linux. And there's all of our scripts there. Okay, so any script that you run, so there's two scripts that we care about using here. One is the list partinfo.sh and the other is the create Xbox drive. The list partition info is basically a script written just to show you the current condition of the hard drive, what the partition layout is of the hard drive. And also it can be used to find which hard drive we want to actually update, modify, partition, what have you, with the create Xbox drive script. There's one other script in here called external Xbox drive.sh. You don't need to be concerned with that script. That script is basically to convert an external Xbox One drive to be readable on a Windows system. The format of an external Xbox One drive and an internal Xbox One drive is very different. There are 5 partitions on the internal drive. There's only 1 partition on the external drive. The external drive is some form of NTFS, but it's not directly readable by Windows like the internal drive. The main point being they're not interchangeable. And this script makes an attempt at making it so you can read an external drive on a Windows system to get files off of it or repair it or back it up. In actuality, though, it doesn't work. Well, it converts it to be NTFS, but you won't be able to read it still on Windows for whatever reason. Okay, anyways, I digress. So first we're going to try to find the drive. So we're going to do, on Linux you do a // to run the script in the current directory that you're in. And we're going to list part info. I did this on purpose because if you run it and you don't put a sudo in front, that's the error you will get. Sudo basically tells whatever the command is after you type sudo to run as root. That's equivalent on Windows to run as administrator, basically, is sudo. Okay, and we can see we have a bunch of drives on the system. The 16 gig is the flash drive, the 2 terabyte is the drive we actually want to format, and this system, this desktop system, has a 480 and a 4 terabyte drive in it as well. Okay, so the point of running this script is to find this, the device name. And we'll run our next script here, the create, put the sudo in front, and without any arguments, it's going to tell you, or it's going to instruct you how to actually use the script. And we'll walk through that here. As it turns out, I've put an example of what to run down here at the bottom, and the example actually covers 2 terabyte drives. So you could basically copy and paste this, with the one exception that you need to change this letter to the proper drive. In this case, it's C instead of B. But in the interest of showing you every possible option here, I won't just copy and paste it. Instead, I'm going to use the long options here. This is another Linuxy thing where you basically run commands and give it all the options right away. So you give it all the information that the program needs right away, as opposed to the Windows script I created, which asks you the proper questions as the script runs. Okay, anyways, so the first we're going to do is specify the drive. So we're going to use -- drive, or the long option drive, and that's going to be dev SDC, as we saw above. And just to mention the stages here, stage 0 is something I added, and its only purpose is to just erase the drive. It doesn't do anything. If you select stage 1, which was originally in this script, it will erase and partition the drive for you, so you don't need to use the 0, basically, because it does the erase all in one. Okay, so we'll do stage 1. And lastly, we have the mirror option. That was added by Ludwig, and the point being, originally when he added it, was so that if you had a drive that was larger than 500 gigabytes, say 1 terabyte, if you selected the mirror option, it would format it as 500 gigabyte even though the drive was larger than that. Prior to that, without the mirror option, it would always create a GUID 500 gigabyte drive, but it would be increased to the size of that disk. So if it was a 1 terabyte, it would be increased to a terabyte, which we don't want to do that anymore. With this latest version of the script, we want to create a proper 500 GB, 1 TB, and 2 TB drive. So we want to use the mirror option every time, basically. Anyways, so in this case, we want to use mirror 2 to create a 2 terabyte drive. We'll hit enter on that. Pretty good feedback about what it's actually doing. I'll let this run all the way through. Okay, so there we go. So we're done. And to simplify this a bit, it actually instructs us or shows us what the next command is to run. And the only difference between this command, the command that suggests that we should run, and the command we ran before it, is that it's now calling for stage 2 instead of stage 1. So basically we can I'm hitting the up arrow here to call up the pass command, and we're going to change stage 1 to 2. And if we scroll back a little bit here, I'm just using the mouse wheel here to scroll up, you can see that stage 2 will write the drive GUIDs. So it does the GUID writing in the second step and not all in one step like the Windows script does. There's not too much of a point to that, other than that, let's say you decided to create your own partitions and you didn't want to basically go through the process of erasing all the data, and you just wanted to apply the GUIDs. You could run stage 2 and you wouldn't damage the partitions themselves or the data on the drive. Anyways, so we'll do stage 2 here. This goes pretty quick, so it's basically adding the GUIDs. And my addition to the script is, instead of separately running the list part info again, it actually runs it as a part of the create Xbox drive.sh for us. So similar to the Windows script, we just want to make sure the output looks like what you see here. Make sure all the GUIDs are proper and that the sizes match up. Okay, that all looks good. And just to show you here, if we did run the list part info script, we would specify the drive that we want to check, which in this case is SDC. And it will, as you can see here, it will output exactly the same output because, again, that calls basically that command as one of the last steps. So everything looks good. So at this point, we're going to stick the drive in the Xbox One and see what happens, and have our OSU1 flash drive ready to go. If we were to create the AAB folders on system update, we'd go over here on the left hand side and look for that partition. So we could see it's actually the last one here. Here's the system update, and we would say open, and that would pull up the drive itself, and then we'd right click it, we'd say new folder, and then create A and B, and then copy the files over. And what we could have done is put the system update files on the root of this flash drive and then drag them into the system update folder. But as I said before in the last video, I'm going to skip that here because I want to show you a slightly different process and also show you how optional this actually is. So we're not going to do that. So we will just unmount it. And at this point, we can shut down our system here. And then disconnect the drive. Okay, so everything is off, and we're going to unplug the drive. Okay, put this in our Xbox One. Trying to be pro with this. There we go. Okay, we're going to change our monitor here to HDMI 2. Okay, we're going to get our controller here. Now, without creating those A and B folders on system update, we should expect to get an E106 error. I've had comments in the in some of my other videos about what an E106 error is, and basically it's that the system update partition is missing or corrupt. In this case, it's not missing, it exists, but it's corrupt because it doesn't have an A and B folder or any files. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this. Oh, well, first I'll show you. If we go in the menu here with the Xbox One controller, in order to go through the menu, you have to use this. You can't use an analog stick. We're going to go down to troubleshoot and then press A. And what we're going to want to do is the offline system update, this option here, but we can't select it because there's no flash drive attached. So we're going to plug that in here on the side. Make sure it lights up. It is. And then you'll see now it's not grayed out anymore. Okay, and now we should be able to work. So interesting tidbit there is you can see the actual OS version that's on the NAND. Kind of interesting. But it gives you a hint as to what OSU1 file version you need. Anyways, we're going to select offline system update here. Now, another possibility of the E106 error is that the OSU1 that you have on your flash drive is too old for the system NAND. That's why I pointed out that OS version at the bottom of the screen there. So you might need to re-download OSU 1 again, basically. Okay, so we've been stuck at 58% here for a little bit. I'm actually glad this happened because this is something that people have mentioned in the comments a few times. So let me show you how to resolve this issue. So basically we're stuck at 58%. It's been going for a few minutes. It usually should go past this much quicker. Now I know it says don't turn off or unplug your console, but when you're stuck like this, there's not much else you can do. So what we're gonna do is basically shut it down. I hit the button once, but I don't think it's actually going to do anything. I think it's just going to sit, so we're going to hit it again. And if it doesn't shut down on the second try, which I don't think it will, we're going to hold it down for about 10 seconds or so. Alright, so I'm not exactly sure why that happens from time to time, but it can happen. Okay, so what we're going to do to resolve that is we're going to select reset. And usually I like to just do the remove everything option. Now, let's see if it actually resets. In the past, I think this is hung up as well. So we'll let this sit a little bit. If it doesn't reset in a few moments, we'll force shut it off again. Yeah, so it looks like it's not responding here. Okay, so we'll force shut it off again. This Xbox is a little weird because it has a modified fan, so it's it doesn't have the sensor to tell it to turn off properly. It just has straight 12 volts. It's not a PWM fan. All right, so I'm going to boot up again. I might see something a little different this time, so let's try to miss anything here. Yeah, okay, so that's a result of resetting the console, so it's basically cleaning up. It might even be repartitioning. Eventually it should return us to the E106 again, and it did. So we're going to start up our controller again here. I'm going to go down to troubleshoot, and we're going to start the offline update again. Now I've seen that 58% thing a few times, and I think it has more to do with the fact that we're updating off the flash drive. and something just happens to go wrong. I'm not sure exactly what, but a part of it could be that the NAND was working fine and then we pulled the drive and then made it not work fine again. So a reset basically clears the account and any games that are installed or knowledge of them being installed from the NAND itself. Okay, so there we go. That's how you get around the 58% error. And you can see actually the second time around when it hit 58%, that's when it rebooted. Might have to sync this controller again. Part of that reset might have been to actually reset the controllers as well. And it looks like that was the case. We'll just get through this kind of quickly here. This is going to take a little while. Where I am right now, the network connection's pretty slow for Xbox Live network. Always choose energy saving, and I uncheck those two. Now I'm going to add the account. So I'm going to pause the video really quick, add my account. Here we're back. Got the account added on there. I'm going to pull this down a little bit. Put on some sound here. Let's say go home. All right, so let's go down here to all settings. Storage. And you can see it's 1.6 terabytes, which is what we expected. So even though with this one I'm debating whether or not I want to do another reset, only because we did a reset as a part of the actual build process, but maybe we'll do it one more time just so you can see that it survives another reset. Alright, okay, yeah, let's do it. Okay. So we're going to go to console info. We're going to say reset console. We're going to reset and remove everything. And we're going to let it reboot. And then we will we'll check the size again in a moment. Okay, so let's make sure this is still a 2 terabyte console. And it is, so it survived 2 system resets this time. Alright, and so the last thing to do is just show you that games are working. So just to show you that I'm not cheating, I'm going to pick something other than Pac-Man this time. I think I'll... In fact, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Dig Dug this time. Where is it? Right here. Or should I do Galaga? Let's do Galaga. See how big this is. If this is anywhere near a gigabyte like Pac-Man, I might stop the video just to see if we can get an idea for how big this is. Yeah, it's about the same. Okay, so with my super slow connection, this is probably going to take almost a half hour or so. So I will stop here and come back and just show you the game loading up. And then we'll call it another video. Yeah, we're almost ready to go here. Let's load it up, see if it works. Okay, this is something I never do, which is actually play a game, so let's give it a try. It's this Galaga, so it's not an easy game to play by any means. Let's see if we can get mostly the whole screen there. I guess that's good enough. Okay, I don't think we'll start on level 32. Let's start on 1. Not very good at this game. I feel like I'm better at Dig Dug and Pac-Man and all that. I actually like the prequel to this game quite a bit. Galaxian? I believe it's Galaxian. I think they capture the ship once they've been hit there. Let's see if he tries. No, doesn't seem like it. Ah, there you go. Got too greedy there. Oh, sure. Now you do it. It's fun having the two fighters. Hopefully I don't blow it up. There we go. See how long this will last. Probably not very long. Oh, that one bastard. I don't like that guy though. Ugh, blue and yellow guy keeps circling around. Oh, already lost the perfect there. Having two ships should make it easier to get a perfect, but not today. Yeah, Galaxian on the 5200 is an amazing game. That and Space Invaders. And the 5200 version is really good if you can get past using that joystick, but it's actually, ooh, wow, that was close. Man. I'm kind of weird. I actually like the 5200 joystick. Fly things are a pain in the ass. Look at that. I mean, once you can get it working, of course. It certainly starts to get a little more challenging at the higher levels here. They start. Whoa. Oh, son of a gun. Doing pretty good with those double ships for a while. And that's the key. If you can get the double ships and not get killed, I mean, I guess not getting killed in general is good, but you know, keep those ships as long as possible. You're bound to go far. That and try to freaking, oh man. Try to get double Chips here again if possible. Trying to take out that. There you go. Some pretty cool achievements in this game. One of them is if you kill that guy trying to pick you up before he finishes picking you up. Another is to actually destroy your ship before you get it back, which is kind of funny. Not really something you want to do. And the rest are all just getting as high as you possibly can. Dang. There's definitely a place you want to be for those. Obviously, I don't know what that is. Oh, there's nowhere to go. Oh. I think I'm down to my last ship. Well, that'd be a good way to end it. You can only have so many bullets on the screen at once. I think it's 2. Oh, that guy's really trying my patience. Oh boy. Hey, don't they'll come flying at you there at the end. Ooh, what the hell? What about that? Green. Jesus. Yeah, I felt good about that one. Oh, so close to that high score. That's okay though, that was fun. 60%, that wasn't too bad. Alright, so there you go. There's the 2 terabyte drive upgrade. Hope you enjoyed that.